What's up, planty people? This is Sydney and welcome to Peaceful Planting, where we talk about all things houseplants. Today I am doing a Q&A video for you all, but instead of just sitting here awkwardly and talking about myself, I am actually going to be cleaning some of the leaves on my plants that are slightly dusty. Before I get started with that, as always, a huge thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. You all are so amazing. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for supporting my channel. It really keeps me going and keeps me motivated for my YouTube channel. And also, if you are new here, you can become a subscriber by clicking that little button down there that says subscribe. And also, if you click the notify bell, it'll give you notifications of any new content I put out there. Okay, let's get started with the Q&A. Before I start, I want to explain what I'm doing with my plants before I start answering these questions. Okay, so I have a little Tupperware thing of water and just some dish soap and a old makeup brush that is cleaned. And then also just a rag to wipe off the leaves when I'm done. So I'm just gonna really be wiping off the leaves of these plants, making a huge mess, and answering some questions for y'all. Now we can get started. I'm gonna start with my philodendron Bloody Mary, which is a hot mess. This plant grows everywhere and it takes up a lot of space, but I love it, so I'm gonna keep her. But she is a little dusty here, so let's start with her. Okay, let me see what the first question is. What do you do for a living? This is an interesting question. I do a lot of things for a living. Well, I have a job at a chiropractic office, which I've had for a very long time. And then I am also in graduate school, which I've mentioned in a few of my videos. I am in a master's program for social work to be a therapist. My master's program is a little different than most master's programs because I have to have an internship the whole entire time I'm in grad school. So right now I am currently working at an inpatient psychiatric unit. It's hard work, it really is, but it's also really meaningful work. So I love it. My ultimate goal is to specialize in grief and trauma. Hopefully I just get a job where I'm interning now. That would just be the icing on top of the cake. So that is what I do. I am graduating in May, and then I will get my license and I will be out there doing therapy, working with populations that I want to work with really bad, which is currently veterans and adults and aging population. I think the aging population does not have as many advocates as it should, to be honest with you. So anyway, I will ramble on this question forever because I love my field and I love what I do. So I'm gonna move on to another question, but if anyone has any further questions about what I do, please leave them in the comments below. Okay, next one. How do you manage school and your plant hobby? I can tell you this, it's not easy. It is not easy to manage school and anything. I have to make sure that I prioritize my self-care because without me mentally being able to, carry on with life in a healthy way, I couldn't do what I do. There's no way. If I did not take care of my mental health, I could not take care of anyone else's mental health, It's all about organizing and prioritizing. That is my main thing. So of course I get all of my stuff done, but I do make sure to have time for myself. And if I have a stressful day, I make sure to have at least an hour where I do whatever I want. So it is very difficult though, but it's so worth it because like I said, without this, I couldn't do my job. There's no way I could help the people that I help without mentally being stable. And I would not be mentally stable if I just pushed through everything and didn't think about myself at all. Anyway, I am done with my philodendron Bloody Mary. Her leaves are looking sparkly and clean. I am going to move on to my Hoya DS70. All right, let's move on to the next question. What got you into plants? Well, in 2017, my significant other died. And then a year later, my mother died. Grief is a battle. Every single day, grief is a battle. That on top of being in grad school, it really adds up. So that goes back to how do I manage this, my plant hobby in school? Because I have to. like I said before, if I didn't do this, I couldn't do what I do, and I wouldn't be in a good place mentally. So that is what got me into plants. A better way of putting it is that I have always loved nature. I mean, I'm a hiker. Me and Pebbles, my dog, if you've seen my other videos, she's my baby girl, she's my old girl, and she hikes with me. So when I started grad school, I really was not able to hike or spend time with myself and Pebbles as much as I wanted to. So if I can't go out there and spend the time to hike, I'm gonna bring those plants inside. I wanted my space to be clean, fresh, and just free of stress. I wanted it to be peaceful. So when I walk into my house, not only do I see a million plants, but I just feel so overwhelmed with nature and love and just peace. I really want to keep this space for me, somewhere I can go where I feel safe and I don't have to worry about anything. Let's move on to the next question. How many plants do you have? I was gonna count right before I did this. Okay, last time I counted, I had 104 plants. I since then have probably bought 4, 5. I really try not to count them, not only because there's this constant pressure, right? That I don't know if anyone can relate, but when we watch these YouTube videos, when we see these Instagrams, we see walls filled up with green, right? And it's beautiful. It absolutely is beautiful. But I can tell you one thing is that all of the plants that I have, this has cost me a lot of money. And not that it's not worth it. Absolutely not saying that at all. But it has costed a lot of money, and I'm in grad school. You know, I'm 24 years old in grad school, struggling paycheck to paycheck. So, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. I really do think that a lot of people can relate to that struggle, that financial struggle. So anyway, I really try not to count my plants, and I try not to make things a competition. I have about, I would say anywhere from 106 to 110 plants. And that's it. You know, of course I have a long wish list like everybody else, but what I really need, I have everything I need. And that's just a little over 100 plants. Let's move on. Do people ever think you're weird for collecting plants? Before we get started on this is my philodendron pedatum. You want me to be 100% honest? I think there's like one person, maybe 2 people from my cohort at school that actually watch my YouTube. So I'm gonna say this. There are some people in my cohort who I do think that I'm a little strange, but I could care less. I'm lucky, very, very lucky to have something that I do for myself, and I love it. I'm so happy doing my plant thing, doing my plant YouTube, and I could care less what anybody thinks. Okay, favorite genus, least favorite genus. My favorite genus, philodendron, for sure. Like 100%, I can honestly say that without even having to think about it, because there are so many different types of philodendron. It's a beautiful, beautiful genus. It really is. So that's my favorite genus, is philodendron. I don't mean to sound cliche. I know a lot of people are raving over philodendrons right now, but there's so many different types. It just offers so much. So that's my favorite genus. My least favorite genus, I don't have one. Maybe I just haven't found one that I just strongly dislike. Okay, so I am done with my philodendron subhistatum. This is my Monstera adansonii. I just gave Reb from Plantastica some of this. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What does your significant other think of your plant hobby? He loves it. He really, really thinks it's peaceful, just like anybody that has come into my house since my collection grew this big. He notices all of the new plants, well, for the most part, but he has his favorite plants. He knows the names of some of them. Like, that's so cool to me. So there is one thing he hates about it, and it's when I get soil everywhere. So if I get soil on the sink, which happens often, if I get soil on the sink, I don't hear the end of it. It's like an all-day thing. He's like, please clean up after your plants. Whatever. But you know, when you're into your plants, it's like you might leave a couple of, maybe just a little bit of soil behind. Anyway, yeah, He loves them. Okay, last question, folks. Y'all, I have a subscriber who just loves when I say y'all. So y'all, this is the last question. All right, what plant advice would you give your past self? The advice that I would give my past self, my past planty self, is that don't feel like you need to buy every single plant that you find that looks a little pretty to you. And the reason I say that is because, like I said earlier in this video, when I watched YouTube videos on all of these houseplant people who I love and are amazing, y'all are awesome, but you know, I would start to feel a little sad because I didn't have 200, 300 plants. And I still, you know, still feel that way sometimes, but I would tell myself, don't feel that way, because over 100 plants is a lot of freaking plants. You know, it's a lot of plants to people who do not have plants. It's a lot of plants to people who do have plants. It's a lot of plants. My camera died. Another piece of plant advice I would give to my past self is reach out and connect with the houseplant community more. I wish I would have done that sooner. The houseplant community is just freaking amazing. That's what advice I would give to myself, is to just reach out to the houseplant community more. Anyways, friends, if you are still around, you are awesome and you are a true subscriber. I love you so much. Thanks for hanging in there and getting to know me. But anyway, that's all I have for y'all, so I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye. Bye.